All In Sports Network. We love sports.
Home to the great football and the rise of football and the greatest spectacle in racing. This is All Indiana Sports, presented by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in. The most important time to lead the game is at the final buzzer. Tyrese Haliburton struck gold again as the Pacers only led for the final 0.3 seconds of the game. How did the Pacers come out of game one with a 1-point win? Let's discuss. We go all in.
That's correct. I'm Kevin. This is my son, Liam. We're the Unstable Blues. Happy to present All Indiana Sports as part of the All In Sports and Rogue Media Sports Networks.
Yes. Before we jump into what happened in game one, as All Indiana Sports, we have to update you that Anthony
There you go.
Richardson will not participate in minicamp due to an injury to his shoulder. The same shoulder he had repaired his rookie year after an AC joint sprain. What would you put as the percentage that he starts week one?
I have something sneaky for you here. I would put his percentage now at somewhere between 15 and 17%.
Why like extra specific?
Well, because 15 is the number of Riley Leonard, and 17 is the number of Daniel Jones.
See, the more and more I think about it, I'm like, we're going to have Daniel Jones as our starting quarterback, and we're going to be made fun of even more. But if he can do the job, if he can do what he needs to do.
As it was reported, though, over the race weekend, he was at the race, hanging out with fans. He was going to bars around downtown Indianapolis, buying shots and, being one of the guys in the community. So that certainly helps his stock with fans from a grassroots level.
Yes.
So
yeah, that definitely helps. Yeah.
But that is that's not why we're here.
No.
Because the Pacers did it. They did it.
Undefeated in game ones this playoffs.
Keep
in mind, 3 of those 4 playoffs game ones have been on the road.
And right. And this is when we wish we had a camera set up in our house just so you could see our reaction. We'll have to do that at some point. But you never know when these moments are going to happen, even though we should know that they're going to happen at this point because your younger siblings are asleep, and so we have to we cheer quietly. I found myself trying to filter my emotions coming out of me by going. I don't know, but it was an exciting time. But let's talk about it, how it all went down. First of all, the Thunder defense.
I'm gonna talk about it first.
Okay.
It is definitely. I wouldn't say it's more than I expected because the way I kind of just go about things in general is just you expect a ton so that it's not as bad. So I expected we are going to turn the ball over so much, all this stuff, we're hardly going to get any points. So it wasn't as bad as I thought, but realistically speaking, their defense is so overwhelming. They play full court, or not as hard as we do, but almost as much. And they're tough as soon as you get past half court. They're playing you outside the hash. They're not letting you get inside. You have to work to get inside. Whenever you drive the lane, there are 2 people at least, and they're swiping at the ball. Yes, they're gonna get called for fouls. That's part of that defense, but they're gonna knock.
Did they? There was
a
a lot of. I don't have my whistle because there wasn't a lot of.
Towards the end of the game, they started calling stuff.
I just think there's no way there's that much ball activity and ball popping out without some kind of wrist slapping going on that should be.
I will say, before we talk about this next person, I want to give a massive shout out to someone who I called was going to be a really big problem. Alex Caruso, because apparently it's
Caruso, yeah,
not the Caruso. It's
right.
the
He came up
Caruso.
big. He came up big, and if the Thunder would have won, it might have been him. But he also had 5 fouls.
5 fouls, and like 2 of those fouls are very bad timed. One was an offensive charge that Neesmith took. So
And he's big time baby drama. Like,
but I also want to
you
give
can
him
tell
a lot of
he
credit.
played at the Lakers.
I also want to give him a lot of credit because this is something that I've done all my life.
Okay.
As a basketball player, I'm 5'8", 160 something. So I'm not the biggest guy, but I've played at smaller schools, so they haven't had big guys either, but I've been on those big guys. I've been defending them. So I give him a lot of props because Caruso's guarding Siakam most of the night.
Yeah.
And Caruso's the size of a guard.
Yep.
Siakam's 6'8". So that is no easy task, especially with what Siakam is able to do on offense. You could tell that Caruso was flustering Siakam. Siakam was not able to work the way he was. Didn't even score 20 points, which is kind of a normal for him.
Yeah.
He's been averaging 24 points.
He's 19.
It was 19, but he's been averaging 24.
Yeah.
Sometimes going above that. Like that's a regular occurrence for him. So you could tell towards the beginning of the game, this Thunder defense was just so much for the Pacers. They were not expecting that much coming out of the gate. Even though they should.
You should be. You watch film. It's one thing to watch film. It's another thing to experience it. Even though they played them twice this year, it's only twice. And I don't know if Chet was part of one of them. I'm not sure with his injury. So, regardless, SGA did what SGA does, 38 total. But the point I brought up to you was 23 of that was in the first half, which means they put a clamp down and held him to 15 in the second half. And they also held him scoreless on the last possession when he had that shot.
He got a little bit of a push off. I'll admit it was a push off, but he got a good look.
Yeah.
Nembhard was just playing such good defense up until then that kind of messed with his brain. I don't think he was expecting to get that good of a look.
Can we talk about some of the defensive things that happened on SGA throughout the game?
There was I pointed out you want 2 people this series on him. Yes, you want Neesmith there and available, but your main guarder is Nembhard.
Yep.
Who was the main guy, but you also want Mathurin because I've noticed just throughout this first game, SGA looked to already be flustered. He was pushing Nembhard around and all that.
Yep.
Already flustered.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want someone to get in your head, that's Mathurin.
Mm-hmm.
And Mathurin also was playing some pretty good defense against him. He knew, I think he was kind of watching Nembhard and was like, okay, that's how you play him because Nembhard was doing these things because obviously they're both from Canada. So Nembhard has had more experience with SGA than anyone on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So he's there doing, and then whenever he tries to go, Nembhard just kind of slips away and prevents the foul bait, which is extremely smart.
Oh, yeah.
Mathurin didn't show up much on the score sheet, but he was playing some really, really good defense against SGA. Also had a really big block on Jalen Williams. So, but Nembhard's defense was phenomenal, regardless how many points.
And like I was telling you, they would play tough on the outside, and then when he got to the inside, they would kind of just to make sure he didn't, like, even if he's going to score, let him score. Don't like get the and one because he's got that great body control. He can do that kind of stuff. Play him tough on the outside, body him up on the outside, but when he gets in the inside, let him go. Mm-hmm. Let him do what he's going to do. Yep. And all of that, and then multiple defenders over the course of a series gets in their head and is wearing.
And since we don't do a preview episode, we only do reviews, I'll throw in a preview type of thing real quick. And it's about SGA. Whenever Chet is in there, because Hartenstein doesn't play on the outside. Chet plays on the outside some.
Although Hartenstein does a really good job of screening.
Yes. Very, very talented screener.
Yep.
But he doesn't play on the outside. Like, he doesn't live on the outside for a 3-ball. Chet does that. So whenever Turner is in there or Toppin or someone like that is guarding Chet and he's on the outside, you see SGA drive. You know SGA is going to go for the layup. He's not the type of guy to pass it or kick it out. If someone goes straight up on him, or you kind of go from behind and get a block. That's one of the easiest ways to stop him, and it's a very efficient way to stop him as well.
Just make sure he doesn't fall down, because then you will be getting whistle. Yep. Which leads us then to this. Turnovers.
Yep.
Turnovers.
Pacers ended with 25.
Turnovers.
The Thunder ended with 6.
Lots and lots of turnovers.
19 of those turnovers were in the first half.
First half of 19 turnovers, which means only 6 in the second half.
Yep.
There was a big difference in a lot of things with the first half and the second half. And taking care of the ball, definitely one of those things. The other thing was that the Pacers came out and kind of gave the Thunder a little taste of their own medicine with a lot of handsy kind of stuff.
There was
good rebounding. Good rebounding in the second half.
So I was watching some stuff before the series started. The Thunder like to run as well as the Pacers because they have a good bench. They have depth. And I think part of it was the Pacers were running too much. I think in this series they need to slow it down because they don't have they just beat a team that runs 7 deep. So you're run because you can. And you have guys like Cat and Robinson who cannot keep up with the running. And Cat doesn't have the defense to do that.
Yeah.
But you are against a team that knows how to run, knows how to defend the run. So you need to slow it down a bit. And I think in the first half, the Pacers were doing too much running, and
they seemed uneasy, schizophrenic, I don't know what to skittish,
do. Like they were like nervous or anxious whenever they got the ball.
Yep. Seemed in desperation too early sometimes.
And whenever they came out in the second half, like you said, they made the adjustments on defense to play just different defense, not necessarily harder, because it was the same physicality, but just to play different defense that worked. And they also knew where Haliburton did a great job of changing his pace and running differently, running at better times. There were times where, there's only 2 guys. We have 3 leaking out. Go. And Haliburton gets the inbound, throws it down court.
Yep.
And then you have a 3v2, you have a bucket. Or Siakam's leaking and no one's there. I remember that happened one time or something like that.
Yep.
So there were many times where you, in that second half adjustments, you can come down from being down by 12. You can come back from that. That is kind of the Pacers' memo, is come back. So
yeah. Speaking of which, they were down as much as 15 at one point
in the fourth. With like 9 left.
In the fourth, all right.
I believe
so. But
went on a 12-2 scoring run, got it close, and then Thunder kind of, eked it back out, and then went on to 10-2 before Haliburton hit that shot.
Yep. Back and forth kind of moments. So they mounted the comeback. They did what they needed to do. They put themselves in a position. They were down by 4, down by. Then we kept going, well, it's only 6. It's only 8, right?
It feels like a lot more, but it
felt like a lot more. But as the game went on, we've seen this happen so many times in the whole season, but more and more people have seen it in the playoffs, where you kind of go, well, it's only.
This Pacers team has an ability to chalk up a 3. Like, let's say you're only down 6. They have an ability to find a quick open 3, get a stop, and then find another 3. And then it's a tie game within 20 seconds.
You need 8 points in the closing minutes. There's no better team to go after 8 points than the Indiana Pacers, and that's history.
Yes.
So that leads us then to, what is your game-changing moment?
How is it not?
I don't know.
How is it not?
I don't know.
Haliburton hitting is not as you like. Someone pointed out there's many players that are considered legendary players. Not many have as many clutch shots as Haliburton does. There are plenty of YouTube videos out. You search up Haliburton clutch shots. There's videos not 2 minutes long, like a lot of legends have. 8 minutes long of just Haliburton clutch shots. How is this not
just this season alone? I think I've lost track at this point. Just this season alone, including the playoffs. I believe he is now.
I think it's 12 of 14 or. 13.
He's only missed one.
No, because he technically speaking, he did miss one.
This is a game tying or game winning shot. He, I believe, has only missed one. If I'm incorrect, please prove me wrong in the comments. That's fine. I'm a big boy. But I believe it is 13 of 14 that he is the entire season, including the playoffs. And guess what? He has hit every single one of them in the playoffs, because that's how the playoffs work. You either hit them or you're gone.
And while we're talking about like stats and stuff like that, about that, there was a graphic that showed up after the game was finished. The most game tying or game leading shots in the final 5 seconds of the fourth quarter or overtime. Number one was LeBron, because he's been in the league for so long, and he's as successful as he is. He had 8 or 9, one of those two.
Mm-hmm. 8.
And then tied for second was Haliburton with 5 and Reggie Miller with 5.
Well,
4 of those have been in the playoffs this season, which is crazy to think about.
But you know what? As we discussed in our preview, I mean, the Pacers are plus 500 and the Thunder minus 700 in the odds.
I wonder what the odds are now.
I'm pretty sure that's changed at that point. So if you put money down on the Pacers, congratulations. You can thank us. Maybe send us a little off the top.
Or, I mean, hey, it's not done just yet, though.
No, it's definitely not. No, this is just game 1. There's plenty more to do. My game-changing moment, I'm going to see. My game-changing moment is the Bryant corner 3.
I was so early on.
I know.
Before any of the runs.
I know. But that, to me, whenever that happened, I was like, oh, okay. Like, to me, that was a moment.
Because Lou Dort had a 3, and then McConnell did his like little paint, the Steve Nash dribble.
Yep.
People call it the McConnell dribble now.
Yep.
But he did the Steve Nash dribble, kicked it out. Bryant was contested too.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my spot. I'm gonna shoot.
Hartenstein was coming out to get him. Bryant just said, "Boop, Barry." To me, that was the moment that kind of shifted. Right. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. Okay. You took the moment. I get it. Low hanging fruit. I'm gonna take earlier on the shift moment. Okay. So, who is then your player of the game?
There.
Now, keeping in mind, okay, I didn't point this out. Keeping in mind that the Thunder only had 4 players in scoring in double figures. Obviously, SGA doing 38 of those. But then they had Jalen Williams with 17, Dort with 15, and Caruso with 11. The Pacers, no one as impressive as SGA, but 6 different players in double figures, including Nesmith with 10. And then McConnell was right there with 9, if you want to throw him in there as the added 7. Mm-hmm. So
many players. See, at the same time, there are many players you could choose, but at the same time, there wasn't like one player that had an amazing game. It was Pacers basketball. Everyone did their part.
You can have the MVP. That's fine. We're going to have the MVT.
Yep. Most valuable team.
That's right.
I think my mom pointed out the guy who shows up in the fourth quarter every single game. For some reason he waits till the fourth quarter.
Why does he wait to the fourth quarter? She's so frustrated, but
that's the best time.
Isn't it?
It's Haliburton. It goes along with my moment. So it just, you need a guy to shoot a clutch shot, and there's like, it's him. and Carlisle trusted him so much, not even calling a timeout to
Right.
drop
Set
the play.
Just go.
Haliburton, go, do your thing.
Yep. I mean, you take him out of the flow of the game, you get him in the head, all these things, just go. Just go. My player of the game. Might be a little controversial here.
If you don't say the person I was gonna say, because I didn't give an honorable mention because I didn't want to take yours.
Okay. All right.
If you don't say the person,
You're going to give it, you're going to throw it at the, okay. I'm going to say Obi Toppin.
I like it because of the way he mentally shifted during the game.
Exactly.
He started the game off terrible.
Exactly. Terrible. Two terrible in the backcourt turnovers and and missed a couple big shots and stuff. But the way he locked in after that,
The way
and came
there was
back.
Lou Dort hit 5 threes, but so did Obi Toppin. So that was not my guy. My guy was Andrew Nimhart because of the defensive shift. It all was on him.
I got you. Yep. And he hit some big shots too.
Yeah.
Right?
He had SJ on him.
But he had
he had 14.
Yeah.
So pretty good himself. He went tween, little cross, step back, 3, and then he was already behind the 3 before he stepped back, and I was like, that's a Nimhart shot, and he hit it. I was like, yeah.
Yep. That's right. So there you go. There's our 3 players of the game. You're welcome. But I think that's all that we have. And Sky potentially being the last game without Caitlin Clark. And then we'll be back on Sunday with Game 2 analysis of the finals as the Pacers stay there in Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder.
Yep. Well, this is Liam.
And this is Kevin.
Reminding you guys to stay all Indiana.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.